Have you ever had the deep and unsettling feeling that something inside you is not quite right? I'm not referring to a physical pain that can be easily identified and diagnosed, but to something much more subtle and elusive, like an invisible wound that throbs and makes itself felt daily, accompanying you in every moment of your life. You may have labeled it as anxiety, inner emptiness, sadness, or a sudden outburst of anger. Or more simply, you may have thought that this is just how you were supposed to be, without ever questioning this perception. But imagine for a moment that it might not be that way at all. Imagine for a moment that there is a burden, a weight you carry inside, something that was infused into you before you were able to comprehend its meaning. It's as if you have an emotional load that doesn't really belong to you and has conditioned you for time immemorial. The truth is that we carry within a series of experiences, emotions, and wounds that do not belong to us, many of which have their roots in our childhood. Yet, no one seems willing to tell us this explicitly. We are made to believe that we are the ones who are imperfect, that we are too sensitive, fragile, or even excessive. And yet, in reality, no child is ever exaggerated. They are simply honest and authentic in their perception of the world. It is the environment around us that does not know how to embrace and value that inner truth. As a result, we begin to modify our behavior. Not because we want to, but because we learn that to survive we must adapt to the expectations of others. We learn to smile even when we desperately want to cry, to say, "I'm fine," even when we feel that something is wrong and not functioning as it should. And, by repeating this mechanism so frequently, we end up forgetting what our authentic and genuine emotions really were. What was hidden from you during childhood is that it was not you who was wrong. You were simply in a context that did not know how to recognize and appreciate you for who you are. That feeling of emptiness you feel today, the one that catches you off guard like an overwhelming wave, is not a manifestation of weakness. It is a deep and ancient message, a call to your true essence. It is the part of you that you had to sacrifice to gain acceptance, the price paid to feel loved, even if in a conditioned and superficial way. Because the love that many of us received during childhood was not authentic love, but rather a reward, a prize for good behavior, for being quiet, polite, and easy to manage. But the truth is that you were not born to be comfortable or to adapt to others' expectations. If today you feel exhausted, trapped, or have the impression of living a life that does not represent you, it is because you are still trying to embody the version that others expected of you, and not the one that truly belongs to you. Inside you, there is still that child who is impatiently waiting to be seen. Not by those who raised you, but by yourself. Only you have the power to piece together the parts of you that you had to abandon in the process of adaptation. It won't be an easy path. There will be times when you feel decidedly overwhelmed and may have the impression of losing everything. But in reality, it will be a journey of rediscovery, a process of reclaiming your true essence. Don't let your past continue to write the script of your life. You have the right to stop, to listen to yourself again, and to embark on a healing process. If you are paying attention to these words, it is possible that a part of you is already ready to embark on this new path. Growing up, we learn to hide the emotions that made us authentic and unique. We have internalized the lesson of turning ourselves off to avoid disturbing others, of behaving exemplarily to avoid abandonment. And we succeeded, but at what cost? Today we find ourselves as adults who no longer know what they feel, who spend their days as if trapped in a confused and indistinct dream. However, awakening can come, often silently and unexpectedly, in the simplest moments. In a deep gaze, in an illuminating phrase, in a pain finally heard and understood. And it is in those moments that you realize you are still alive, that inside you there is something that ardently wishes to emerge, to be seen, understood, and embraced. You are not broken. You have simply been in a world that asked you to turn off, to hide your true essence. It is time to reignite yourself, to do so step by step, breath by breath. You don't have to face all this alone. It is essential to start from within, from that inner child who still waits for your voice. We have all learned to survive rather than to live fully. We have believed that adaptation was the only way to receive love, but adaptation comes with a very high cost. We have transformed into distorted versions of ourselves, built personalities to please others, and in doing so we have lost connection with our inner truth, with our authentic self. Each time you ignore what you feel, Each time you tell yourself that your emotions don't matter, you are betraying that child who continues to knock on your heart and soul. It is not weakness to want to be seen, it is an act of courage. The courage to look inside and affirm, I deserve more. I deserve respect, love, attention, and presence. And all this starts with you, not with those who have hurt you, not with those who have not seen you for who you are, but with yourself who today has the opportunity to decide to change direction and path. You can choose to rebuild your life starting from your feelings, from your vulnerability, from your authenticity. The pain you carry should not be seen as a condemnation but as a guide, a beacon that illuminates the path to your truth. Every held back tear, every denied emotion, every fake smile represents clues, fragments of your true essence that long to resurface and come to light. When you start to honor what you feel, everything begins to change. Not in a day, not immediately, but change happens over time, in a gradual yet powerful process. Because finally, you are the one writing your story, a narrative that smells of truth, that no longer needs masks or artificial constructs. A story that begins with a simple yet powerful phrase, I see myself, I feel myself, I embrace myself. But if you feel that there is something more, if inside you there is a question moving that you cannot express in words, then listen. There is a powerful tool little known but incredibly deep. It is called Real Numerology, and it is more than just a simple test. It is a personalized numerological reading based on your birth date and full name, revealing invisible wounds, inner blocks, and forgotten talents. It is like a spiritual mirror that shows you who you really are and what the universe wants to tell you at this very moment in your life. I myself was surprised by the accuracy with which it described what I had inside. And now I want to offer you this possibility. Receive now your free numerological reading from Real Numerology. Just enter your name and birth date, and let yourself be guided. It is the first step to rediscovering yourself. And if these words have helped you even a little, subscribe to the channel. Every week, new truths, new questions, new answers. Because the most important journey is always the one you take within yourself.